Hello, Zach Yelton here, Coastal Shores Landscape. Welcome to October 2021. This is our newsletter video for the month. Thanks so much for tuning in. As we come into October, we are all enjoying a little bit of cooler weather here. Daytime temperatures are still pretty high, but in the night times and early mornings, we can start to feel those temperatures dropping. The days are getting shorter, and we're all looking forward to a little bit of a relief from the hot summer we've had. If you're like me, I start thinking about in my garden right now, I start thinking about seasonal color. I start thinking about a little bit of a refresh from the tired summer, the long summer we've had. So mulch and pine straw often need refreshing this time of year. It's a good time of year to do it too. Many of you plan to host company over the holidays and through the holidays, so it's a nice time of year to improve your yards that way. Another way we look to do that also is with seasonal color. We offer a whole array of seasonal color options. And particular to your property, you may have deer pressure, you may have shade, you may have sun. We've got options that can work through all of those things. So don't hesitate to reach out, large or small, if you need some help designing or thinking through some seasonal color options. We can help do that. But whether or not you put that in or whether we put that in for you, please remember it's important to build a proper landscape bed, a proper base, right? You've heard the saying before, don't put a $10 plant in a 10-cent hole. Well, there's a lot of truth to that. A lot of our soils around here are native soils. Some of them are very heavy in clay and depleted of organic matter. It could be the clay side of the spectrum, it could be the sandy side of the spectrum, but in both cases, often they are depleted of good organic matter, living organisms in the soil that help the plant thrive. So building that proper landscape bed is very important, especially when we talk about bedding plants. So don't ever underestimate the power of building a good base, or if you're planting in a pot or a planter, filling it with some good, rich organic plant mix. So talk to us. We can provide that kind of stuff for you, and we're happy to talk more about those things. The other thing I wanted to mention is pre-emergent herbicides. You've probably seen our push if you've gotten our newsletters recently, and maybe even tuned into last month's newsletter video. We talked about pre-emergence. So many of you have signed up, and that's great. Pre-emergence is important to have good expectations going into what the pre-emergence will do for your property. A pre-emergent herbicide is designed to prevent weeds from germinating. It's not going to prevent all weeds from germinating. It's most often focused on a certain few that are really tough to control and really hard to deal with when they do germinate. It's also important to remember, even for the targeted weed, you're not going to prevent 100% of them from germinating. So just because you might pay for us to put this out on your lawn does not mean your lawn's going to be completely free of weeds. It will likely be the case that it is significantly lower than it would be without the pre-emergent. So an effective program often is a combination of a pre-emergent herbicide with a post-emergent herbicide. And the post-emergent herbicides would be applied by our teams after the weeds germinate in your lawn. So that is our approach to effective weed control on your property. And overall, I think looking at the big picture here, if you have a consistent problem with weeds in your yard, weeds showing are often just the tip of the iceberg. It's showing that it's a symptom of maybe a greater problem beneath the surface. Most often, compaction, poorly drained soils, heavy wet soils, all those things generally lead to the formation of weeds, right? So, there are some things culturally that you can do, albeit not easy to do, but there are some cultural things that you can do, and over time, you can improve the soil structure to help reduce those weeds as well. So, fighting weeds in our landscapes is more than just dumping a bunch of chemicals out there. We don't want to do that. We want to try to reduce our amount overall that we have to use, right? And in doing so, you can build better soils, improve the soils that are there, and overall help your property. So, if you have any questions about any of that, I'm happy to have a conversation with you. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the month of October.